Well, congratulations. Welcome to office.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's an honor to obviously have Kentuckians bestow this opportunity upon me, and we obviously, I was sworn in on Tuesday, and the computers are working and emails up and running and phones are ringing, so I think we're ready to hit the ground running here.
Well, it looks like you've got a good staff in place.
Absolutely.
And as a candidate, you were kind of criticized for not having enough legal experience. But now as AG, you've made some appointments that were received quite positively, and you have some very experienced people in some very important positions. Can you tell us a little bit about your staff, the experience level they have, the standards you plan to set for them, and what you hope to do for the people of Kentucky with this crew?
Well, look, in the campaign trail, I talked a lot about my judgment that this office needs to renew its promise as the chief law enforcement office here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. And in my judgment, what that meant was really having a strong focus and emphasis on the criminal side of this office. And so I'm proud that we'll be bringing in Amy Burke, who is a chief prosecutor up in Kenton County at the county attorney's office there. She's going to do an excellent job of leading that part of the office and making sure that we have make every effort really to assist our Commonwealth and county attorneys through our special prosecutions unit, also through our Department of Criminal Investigations, that we're assisting with public corruption investigations, that we're assisting with drug investigations, and that we're also assisting on cyber crimes investigations. So she's going to do a phenomenal job on that side of the ledger. I brought in Vic Maddox, who Vic is a longtime attorney, well regarded within the legal community. He's going to be heading up our civil division. He's got over 30 years of experience. It is an honor to have him come in from private practice to come into state government. So when that announcement was made, I received a lot of emails and calls, along with Amy Burke, a lot of emails and calls of folks saying, look, you are assembling a great team. And I recognize in this job, no one individual, no one person has all of the right answers or can make all the right decisions. You have to have a team around you that can help you make those decisions, that can help lead the office, which is why it was so important that I had those two individuals heading my civil and criminal unit. The person that's going to be walking with me through this journey is a gentleman named Barry Dunn. He's my Deputy Attorney General from Adair County. We went to law school together. Incredibly bright, incredibly talented, knows how to lead. He's the model that I think I've tried to share with people and try to impress upon people is that we want to be in the business of servant leadership. So whether that's Barry or Amy or Vic, they're going to lead through example, through the hard work and diligence that they provide on legal matters and administrative matters as well. So I'm excited to have those folks here. I've brought in Chad Meredith, obviously, to be Solicitor General, and Matt Kuhn to be Deputy Solicitor General. They're going to really, in my judgment, provide for a strong appeals branch within the Attorney General's office, and look forward to them doing that. Steve Pitt, who has been a person of great institutional knowledge as it relates to state government, but also his time in the U.S. Attorney's Office, his time in private practice. Again, so many strong leaders. Elizabeth Kuhn is going to be handling my comms. Folks that have experience, know how to work hard. That's incredibly important as we move into this next decade. I talked a lot about we need to have a vigorous and diligent AG's office that's on the move. And all those people, in my judgment, can provide that.
What's the biggest challenge facing the AG's office right now, from your perspective?
Well, the biggest challenge I think that we have to confront is I spend a lot of time talking about, in my judgment, the public safety challenge of our lifetime is the drug epidemic. So I think we have to be in the responsible position in the AG's office of assisting our federal and state law enforcement community in confronting that challenge. So for a number of years, opioids were the primary driver of our drug epidemic. They continue to be a challenge and something that we are going to look at and fight against diligently. But we also have to be just as cognizant of and aware of methamphetamines and crystal meth that's making a resurgence back in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. So I think in terms of the responsibility of this office to be the chief law enforcement office, what our role should be is helping and aiding and assisting our global law enforcement community through the Department of Criminal Investigations, as I mentioned earlier, but also through our Special Prosecutions Division to attack that challenge. On the civil side, we're going to continue to have to focus on opioid manufacturers and those that we've got some existing litigation here in the office, and we're going to continue to pursue that. I think Kentuckians deserve to have redress or to be afforded some sort of redress for the damages and the harm that's been caused over the last few years because of the drug epidemic and the opioid epidemic. So we're going to have a robust civil division and civil branch, again, that Vic Maddox is leading up. We're also going to focus on child abuse issues and challenges in that regard. I talked a lot about, and as I was being sworn in, made the statement about being a voice for the voiceless. That means protecting the vulnerable in our society, whether that's children or whether that's senior citizens. And so we're going to do everything within our power to make sure that they know that their voice is being heard by this office.
When you talk about that, I hear you say a lot about enforcement, particularly with the child issue that you raised and child welfare security issues. A lot of times that comes back to the drugs themselves for parents who are addicted to drugs, and that's causing the problem with the child. Do you really think enforcement is the only answer, or is that just part of your solution for reformative justice in Kentucky?
Well, I think that it has to be a multi-pronged approach, and so we've got a responsibility on the enforcement side, obviously, but treatment has a large role to play in making sure that folks that are addicted to drugs have the help that they need to get back on their feet, and so that they can be productive citizens. Workforce is important as well. If folks have jobs, I think they're less inclined probably to want to get involved in drugs, or if they know that there's hope within their communities, that they'll want to stay away from from drug addiction and that sort of thing. So it is a multifaceted approach, and we look forward to being a constructive partner in that conversation on all of those on different facets to confronting the challenge.